not.
Welcome to Business Prowess with Rafael and Dr. Andrea. Our show will bring you the best insights, ideas, and inspiration from successful entrepreneurs and CEOs in the business world. Don't miss out on the opportunity to learn from the best and stay ahead of the game. Sifu Rafael is the founder of 5 unique shows. He's a fitness professional, solutions expert, executive coach, and head instructor at Max Martial Arts and Fitness in New York. Dr. Andrea Adams-Miller is an award-winning international keynote speaker, best-selling author, and CEO of the Red Carpet Connection Publicity, Publishing, and Talent Agency, and CEO of IgniteYourRelationship.com. Known as the Dream Maker, she makes visionaries' dreams come true, bigger than they ever dare to desire.
Dr. Andrea, happy Friday. Happy Friday the 13th. How are you today?
Happy. I am doing absolutely wonderful. So glad to see you. It's been a while.
Yes, it has. It's been a minute. I am excited for today's show because we have 2 exceptional and beautiful people joining us. Let's bring them on. So Jeff and Adaku, welcome to, are you ready for this incredible show, Business Prowess?
Incredible is absolutely correct.
Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure to be on.
Well, we're glad to have you always.
So before we start, everybody tell us where you're chiming in from.
I'm happy to go. So I'm calling in from Tulum, Mexico.
And streaming live from San Diego, California.
Findlay, Ohio today.
And New York for me. Having fun every day. So the topic today is burnout to breakthrough, leading without losing yourself. Isn't that a great thing? Not to lose yourself.
Well,
wherever you go, there you are, right?
Exactly. When you think about that, what does burnout to all of you mean? First of all, because I think people have different levels of what they think burnout is.
When I think about burnout, well, my personal burnout was pretty extreme. I fell into depression and then I tried to take my life. And so I had a couple of failed suicide attempts, and that was the sign for me that maybe some things need to change. But I think for a lot of people that I speak to, sometimes burnout can be just losing the will to kind of like the motivation and the zest of life just dies, and they feel a little bit resigned, and they don't have passion for anything, and they just kind of feel like they're on a treadmill and in autopilot. So.
Yeah. Jeff?
See, burnout is when you're living your life by default. If you choose to live your life by design, you create those inspiring environments. Understand what all your environments are, and you want to be inspired, not expired. So if you're feeling the burnout, if you're feeling you're losing yourself, that means one of your environments is out of sync, and you got to work together to find out what inspires you and design that environment to be inspired, not expired.
Well, it sounds like Jeff, you were so good at that answer. It sounded like you knew exactly what we were going to ask you, and we did not tell him that. So there you go. I'm going to wipe my screen. I just realized I'm blurry. Oh, so much better. All right. Sifu,
well, Doctor, as a recovering attorney and being a litigator and being asked many questions by judges and justices, you kind of really think of what you need to do. It sounds good, whether it was true or not. It sounds good, right?
It sounded wonderful. So we'll go with that it was absolutely brilliant. Sifu, what's burnout to you?
Well, first of all, I want to congratulate Adaku for failing, by the way. I'm so glad that you failed, because I would not be able to look at your beautiful smile if you succeeded. So thank you for failing. And your failure is to our benefit. So I just want to clarify that, because you brought up a really good thing, because people, they don't think they're worth anything, and therefore they attempt something that they should not. And seeking help is the most important thing. And looking at yourself in the mirror is such a powerful thing, when we can look at ourselves in the mirror and go, God, thank you for creating me, because I am in your image. I am the most beautiful and worthy person there is. So thank you. I really appreciate you being here with us.
Thank you.
And well, I think burnout for me, and I still have never experienced it, but what I can tell you from what I've heard from my clients, and the reason I haven't experienced it is because I do that, what I just suggested. I look in the mirror and I thank God for the gifts He's given me. And what I've noticed from a lot of clients that I've had is that that's exactly it. They feel they're not worthy. They don't feel like they belong. And they also don't feel that they have anything to contribute. And maybe someone in their life keeps telling them they're not worthy. And so they're listening to the wrong messages. And burnout happens when you also are overwhelmed. And when we can take every day one step at a time, we can take every day for what it's worth. I think we can slowly get away from even considering burnout. So that's my take on it. That's how I've never experienced it. But I am very passionate about helping others who may be going through it, or even in this early stages of it, or even in the middle of it. That's my take. How about you, Dr. Andrew?
Well, I appreciate that you recognize Adaku for being so vulnerable. I mean, one of the beautiful things about us all being here together, we get to show up and be raw and who we are. That's one of the reasons I love doing the show with Sifu, is when we bring people together to share information. We're sharing from our heart and soul that, and our knowledge and expertise that allows people to take from our experiences and hopefully do better and implement and have greater impact on the world. And yeah, burnout. To hear the differences in burnout from Sifu, who like burnout, that's not a thing, to Adaku, where at one point in your life burnout meant signing out. And I appreciate that. I'm glad that came out. And when I asked that question, I didn't know what would come, and that vulnerability is beautiful. For me, burnout can vary. There's days where I'm just like, yeah, I think I could be done with this. And then there's days I'm like, how could I have ever even thought that for a second? Because I'm so excited and thrilled about what's going on. And I agree with Jeff that, well, all of you have said some part of this, that it's a story that we run in our head. And whether it's someone else telling us or our perception that they're telling us, and the fact that we even listen to someone else at all, or ourselves when we're saying something negative, is usually about the state of what we're in and what we see that's possible. And if we can, disrupt that, that allows us to step into something new. So I appreciate you guys bringing that up today.
So, we all talking about burnout. We all have challenges. We're human beings. We all have challenges. And each time I have a challenge, just thank God for the challenge I have. Because as challenging as I think it is, there's someone that is worse off than I am.
Mm-hmm.
And if I'm going to give a little bit of plug, but tell a little story, that 10 years ago, 8 guys we enjoy playing poker. We were playing tournaments once a month.
Mm-hmm.
And we decided that 1 month out of the year, we're going to have a charity tournament. We looked for a charity we liked. We didn't find one, so we started one. We started Life's Angels. And the mission of Life's Angels is to give back to those dealt a bad hand in life.
Mm-hmm.
So you do not want to be a beneficiary of Life's Angels, but thank God we have Life's Angels to do that. And we're having our 10th anniversary. And in 10 years, 8 guys got together with an idea to have an annual poker tournament. We've already given away almost $750,000 to people who've been dealt a bad hand in life. Nice. So thank God for our challenges, whatever they may be.
Woohoo! Party, party, party. I love that. Yeah. For first of all, congratulations. That's amazing that you were able to take something that you have fun doing and the impact on the world that you want to do. I know Sifu is doing some things of impact. Sifu, do you want to share?
Sure. First of all, I want to say that April is when, and Jeff is coming out to Long Island. That's when he's doing his event, and I'm hopefully going to be there.
Yay!
I'm doing my best to be there, right, to make sure I can make it. But I think when we think about impact, it's exactly what I said earlier. Every morning I wake up in gratitude. I thank God for the fact that I woke up. Right, every morning I'm so grateful. I'm up. I'm alive. Woo-hoo! And then I start to think about the people in my life and the impact that they've had on my life, whether it's good or bad. You have people in your life that are going to impact you in one way or the other. Hopefully it's good, but not everywhere, and not everybody desires that for you. So then I start my day of how can I be better than I was yesterday? And so that's how I lead my days. And so when we think about impact, I do live events also. And I just had one about 2 weeks ago in Tampa, and we're having the next one in May at my facility in New York. And then we're going back. We're going to go to Atlanta next, and we're going to have an event over there. And then we're coming back to New York. And so every time that I get to be in the room with powerful people who are creating an impact for others, to give wholeheartedly, that really lifts me up. And so what Jeff is doing, creating an event, and he found a charity that was not doing what they wanted to do. So he created one. That's the beauty of things. When you don't see what you want, build it. That's leadership. That's the divine working through you. Build what you need if it's not there, right? Innovation.
I'm going to interrupt. How do we? What's the website for your organization for people who want to know how to participate or donate or need a hand?
Thank you, Doctor. It is lifesangels.org. All the information is there. And I want to say one other thing. Steve was talking about if you don't see what you have, create something. So there are these two commentators who broadcast the World Series of Poker in Las Vegas. They've been doing it for a quarter century. And they commented, they found out about Life's Angels. Says most poker players usually like to take. You guys give. We want to be a part of it. So every year they fly across the country to participate in our event at no charge. They volunteer their time. Players are interacting with these commentators, these basically world-known commentators. And it's very humbling to people to come in and participate.
Sounds fun. Where do you do it at?
We do that at the Mansion of Oyster Bay in Woodbury, New York. It is the last Wednesday of the month. It's the 29th of April. And for our 10th anniversary, we're giving 2 top prizes for participants, a $10,000 entry into the World Series of Poker. So the top 2 people will get a $10,000 entry to the World Series of Poker in Las Vegas, where that top prize is $10 million.
Super cool.
I'm going to have to learn to play poker, first of all.
But there's, if you don't play poker, there's wonderful food, drink, networking, business people.
Okay,
it's a great old time. And we have an unlimited candy bar, too. If you look on the website, you'll see pictures of the unlimited candy we give away.
I love it. Well, that sounds like a really lovely thing. I would love to come. I'm in a musical, so I will not be able to be there. I'm sure that's the date is my show date. But I might be able to come to your thing in May. We'll see.
Awesome.
I have a couple things going on myself in Las Vegas. How about you, Adaku? Adaku. Say it again for me.
Adaku.
Why am I making it hard? Adaku. Adaku, first of all, where are you? Because I know you have a interchange, international number, but that doesn't mean you're not in the States.
I'm not in the States, so I'm in Tulum, Mexico.
Oh, cool. Well, you're not terribly far away.
No, I'm close. It depends where I'm going. I think I'm an hour away from a lot of places in Florida and Houston. I think it's 2 hours away. So I'm always in and out of the States.
Yeah. I have
So
been.
now I have a friend in Mexico that I can go visit. Look at that. I love it.
You do, for sure.
Yeah, that's beautiful. How did you guys meet? I always think that's fun to find out. Sifu, how do you know Adaku?
We probably met through Podmatch, which is a great place that connects people. I've met so many people all over the world through Podmatch. And once I make a connection, for me, it's always about staying connected. And Adaku was going to be on my show a long time ago, and things just didn't work out. And I said, no, we got to stay connected. So I'm so happy that you're here today. Adaku, when you think about, you talked earlier about, you realized that the beauty inside of you needed to be shared with others. What was your breakthrough? What was that like for you?
Well, my breakthrough came at my lowest point, my rock bottom. I'm the eldest girl of 7 children, and I'm from a Nigerian family. So that comes with a lot of responsibility. And I kind of ripped my childhood off at 8 years old. And so I had this pattern of doing everything for everyone, and that's what eventually led me to my breakdown and burnout. And so at that point, because I was so used to taking care of everyone and having all the answers, I didn't ever think I needed fixing. It was like everyone else needs fixing. So breaking down was the biggest blessing I had, because I had to realize clearly you don't have all the answers. And that's when I started working with a coach. And one of our initial conversations, he kept asking me, how did you get here? And I was blaming everyone. It's my parents take from me like I'm an ATM. My siblings just take and no one appreciates. And he said, who told you had to do that? And I kept thinking, well, what do you mean, who told me? If I don't, everything will fall apart. And he repeated the question, who told you had to do that? And something clicked. Wow, no one actually told me I had to step into that role. I made a decision, even though I was a child, that things weren't working out and I needed to do something about it. And that then trained everyone how to deal with me. The whole, we teach people how to teach us. If I kept showing up and fixing things, then everyone's going to expect me to show up and fix things. So I needed to learn how to shift the dynamic by taking back my power and realizing, okay, well, if I've contributed to this dynamic, I can contribute to a new one by stepping into a new way of being. So that was the initial breakthrough that kind of had a ripple effect in every area of my life, in business, in my relationships, and in every other area.
Again, congratulations. Happy birthday to you, Adaku. But we've also demonstrated you gotta have, or you will have, a breakdown before you get that breakthrough. When you're at that point, that is the point that you're ready for that breakthrough, and you're living proof. So congratulations, and thank you for sharing that.
Oh, of course. I agree. I think that a lot of times we get so used to being who we think we are, that we get attached to it. And it takes immense pain, whether it's death or injury or mental breakdown or burnout, to realize, okay, well, maybe I need to do something different. And those things can seem like they're bad things, but they're usually blessings in disguise if you look at a perspective that everything's happening for us. So how can I take this experience and turn it around to create a new reality? So
very beautiful. Very beautiful. Super exciting. What took you to, how'd you end up in Mexico?
Well, I kind of just ended up here kind of by accident. It was during the pandemic. Everyone in London was in lockdown, and everyone was wearing masks. And after about 3 months of that, I was like, I just need a breather from all of this. And I had a friend that was in Tulum, and she was like, there's really no pandemic here. Just get a plane here. And it was the most apocalyptic thing I did. I got on a flight, and there was like 3 other people. The airport was bare. yeah, I felt like I was in a twilight zone. And I ended up coming here, and she was right. Everyone was kind of going through life like COVID wasn't a thing. And I was like, okay, this feels good. I think I might stay here. And 3 days into being here, I was like, I don't think I'm going back to London. I was scared that if I went back, the borders would lock down and I wouldn't be able to get out. So I didn't, it took me 17 months before I went back, and I've been here nearly 6 years now. So kind of just happened.
How brave. That's super fun and brave. I'm glad that was a great experience for you.
Yeah, it's been amazing.
Well, I have a question for Jeff similar to that. Sifu, Jeff was in New York near you. What made you go all the way to San Diego?
Well, look, life is not a dress rehearsal. Life is for living. Now, I was originally raised in New York, and at 22 years old, I went 3,000 miles away to go to law school in San Diego, where I got a job, found a wife, had a couple of kids, got a house, and I stayed for 22 years. My wife is a native Californian. Now, at the time, my folks were alive, my family's there, so we were going to go back to New York. And as the truck is leaving San Diego to go to New York, she tells me, says, you know, I'm retiring in San Diego. You're welcome to join me. So about a year and a half ago, we have returned to San Diego. And what a difference. I mean, look, I'm 20 years older than when I left, and San Diego was also advanced over 20 years. But it's a great environment. It's inspiring. I practiced law for over 30 years. I've owned 6 businesses. And again, moving what I said earlier, a life by design. I'm designing my life right now, and it's a beautiful place to live.
I love it. I love it. I love San Diego. I think Ohio is similar to San Diego most of the year, and then all of a sudden we get this little cold spell. But for the rest of the time, it's pretty nice out. So, and I every time I'm in San Diego, I feel like I'm at home. We're the same temperature difference, the same sun shining, except for we don't have access to water.
It's a beautiful thing.
Mm-hmm.
We make choices, and it's a beautiful thing.
So our other part of our title, burnout to breakthrough. So leading without losing yourself. So we've talked about what burnout is, where that can be. So as far as moving forward and having, growth and moving forward in your life without losing yourself, what are some other things that you guys have thought of that our audience can hear and learn from your experiences that allowed you to have those breakthroughs? You've already kind of mentioned some of them, but there might be more that come to mind that would be really beneficial to others.
Always go with Adaku first. Always respect.
Okay. So many things. It's hard to kind of pinpoint where to start. But I think for me, just to riff off what Jeff said in terms of life by design, I think a lot of the times we don't realize it, that we're living our lives based on other people's expectations. So whether it's our parents or what we see socially is what we're supposed to do, and we lose touch with what we want. So after depression, I grew a 7-figure recruitment business, and I had the office in central London and the team, and it felt like prison. I like having to get up and go into the office every single day. I was just like, so once I let that go, I looked at what didn't I like about it. I didn't like having to go to an office and feeling trapped. So I want to be able to work from anywhere. I want to be able to do something that I'm actually passionate about, but I have to figure out what that is, because I lost myself in playing the role of the firstborn daughter. So by doing that, I was able to really start finding myself by tuning into, because it's really easy to complain. And there's so many people who complain, but we don't look at, okay, well, if we're complaining, what is the opposite of what we're complaining about, which then gives us an indication of what we truly value and what we want, and then creating our lives from that. So now I have a business that is remote. I'm in my purpose. I'm helping other firstborn daughters heal. I'm doing that in my own time. I was able to take 2.5 years off to deeply rest and only work 4 hours a day, so I've been able to craft a life that I'm excited to wake up to, because I really tuned into what do I desire, and build from there. So that's one of the tidbits I would give.
Super. Super.
Leadership, by definition, if you're a leader, you are taking all the responsibility and sharing all the credit. It's a concept that was basically one of the main topics of my commencement speech at the University of New York, Stony Brook in 2019 to the College of Business. I've had the great fortune to lead many organizations. In 2013 to 2015, I led the largest law fraternity in the world and led them into their second century. Yes, as a leader, you're a figurehead, but I could not have done it without a team. It is so important to support your team, because then your team is supporting yourself. So without losing yourself, it's not just you. If you can motivate, inspire, bring people together for a bigger cause, that's what leadership is. And if you are a true leader, you will never lose yourself.
I love that.
He's so good. Are you going into politics ever?
Doctor, in 1992, when I was like 30, 31 years old, I'm running a law practice. I had a lot of high profile cases. And when you run a business, people say you take a breakfast, take a meeting. So I took a meeting. And during that breakfast meeting, I was said, hey, after the 1990 census, there's a new seat, congressional seat, open in San Diego. We want you to run for Congress. I never ran for door catcher, let alone a federal office. Understand, the political climate in 1992 was a lot different than it is today. So I did do that. I came in second.
Congratulations.
But what a wonderful eye-opening experience. And especially in the climate today, I want no part of that. And it was good. It was great, because you got to meet people, and people kind of don't realize that when you're an elected official, your employers are the people, and they will tell you what they want and how you should lead and do that. So it's interesting that question came up. It's just how I choose to live my life, and we all can make that choice.
Yeah, and
by design, right?
Sifu.
No, I was just saying, like you said, you chose by design your life, how to lead it. Go ahead, Dr. Andrews.
Intuitively, I guess I picked up on that, and I think part of it is because you're well spoken, and because you do know the law, and you don't speak like a majority of attorneys that I've heard speak, that are speakers or go into politics. You speak very heart-centered, and yet very logical and reasonable. And so I thought, you have a nice voice of portraying how people are. And then when you said, the constituents are I use the word, I love the word constituent. I like to use it on a regular basis for whatever reason, but they're your employers. And I love that. And to me, they are. I feel like when we lead, or whether we're in politics or in an organization or a community, or just leading the people around us because we're at a social gathering and somebody kind of needs to lead, being aware of what other people need, what they want and what they need, and being able to find an ease of massaging all of that so they get what they need, but not overly, sometimes what they need and what they want are two different things, and being able to give them what they want and yet do it in such a way that it's serving them to the highest power is a skill. And I could recognize that in you.
I'm humble. Thank you, Doctor.
You're welcome.
It's that type of life experiences. When I work right now, my transition was from practicing law as a litigator to being a fractional chief operating officer, a coach, and a consultant.
Mhm.
And whether you're Joe's Tires or Microsoft, all businesses are the exact same thing. They have something called human beings. So listen to the human beings, and you figure in nearly 40 years of experiences, you've kind of seen things. And if you can guide people to enhance their own inspirations, to reach their maximum benefits, that's going to help them individually, and it's going to help the business they choose to invest their life with, whether it be they're investing 5 hours, 50 hours. This abolished voluntary servitude many years ago. What we choose to do, we are giving our life for that particular purpose. And again, going back to the inspiration. So you listen, find out what that challenge is, what maybe is that breakdown, and how can you provide information to achieve that breakthrough.
Beautiful.
I like to touch upon leading without losing yourself, because for me, the way I feel, it's about not getting caught up in all the minutia, if you will, of your daily tasks of business and all these things without taking care of you first. And like I said, every morning I take care of me. I am so selfish. And I have to be, right? Because like I said earlier, wherever you go, there you are. And if you don't take care of yourself, you will lose yourself. So no matter how crazy, whether it's your law practice, or if it's your bakery, if it's your garage, wherever it is, that you're leading a team or anyone, that you still need to be you first, so that you can help others. And this is, I believe it's the strongest will to be in our heart first and our mind second. Because when we feel the love that we can acquire from other people, but first the love that we can give ourselves, and then we can let the mind go and do what it has to do in order to be great in business, to be great in anything that we do. We have to start with us. So I'd like to open it up that way with you. And how do you do that for yourselves?
Yeah, it's interesting because a lot of people don't prioritize themselves because they don't want to be selfish. So I stopped saying selfish and said that it's being self-full. Because if you pour into yourself, then you're full, so you have capacity to give even more than you would if you were coming from scarcity. And the metaphor I typically use for that is, if you meet a homeless person that had $5 and they lost that $5 bill, it's going to be panic. It means so much to them to have that money. But if you meet a millionaire that loses $5, it's not even a blip on their radar. So in the same way, we need to kind of fill that bank of ourselves, our energy, our nourishment, our health, our wellness, in order for us to be able to show up fully and give. So in terms of how I do that, I have to check in with myself regularly. Do I have the time, the capacity and resources to show up fully? And if I don't, I can say no from love. And if I do, then I can show up fully because I'm not given from a place of scarcity and lack, which a lot of the times when people do, they need something in return. You know, that's when resentment comes in and no one supports me. And well, I'm giving so much of myself and no one appreciates it. Well, you didn't really have it to give if you needed something to come back. It's conditional, you know? So that's the tools that I use. But in terms of business, I work with female founders who are firstborn daughters. And a lot of the times they are stretching themselves, even though they're the founder, they're doing way too much and getting involved way too much in the operations because they feel like only they can do it to the standard they do it. And once they're able to start seeing, like, even if their team only show up 80%, it's going to take the business way further. So in terms of them really looking at what activities serve me, what activities are best utilized by someone else, they're able to start delegating in a true way. Because usually it's, I work myself to the bone, I'm about to burn out, I abdicate, everyone doesn't know how to do it to my standard, then I get pissed that they can't do it, so I take it on again, and it becomes this vicious circle. Whereas if they do it intentionally, they can truly train people up to being at to somewhat their standards, so that they can go focus on the strategic and kind of business development tasks that are better use of their time and more enjoyable. Yeah.
Doctor, what you said is brilliant, and there's so much to unpack there. For instead of living a life and decided by scarcity, you want to create an abundance, live a life by abundance. And you're talking about the founders who have to do everything. We understand each of us has a very specific high impact, high income skill set. And that high impact, high income skill set is what we should be doing all the time. Now, if there are things that you hate to do, you find people who play at what you work at. Because as much as you don't like it, someone loves to come every morning, they wake up to do what you hate. And you surround yourself, we're talking about leadership, we surround yourself with a team who has everyone who is inspired, who is looking to their abundance. And another way of not losing yourself, a key aspect is accountability. Yes, there are so many things we can do, but one way I have accountability, I have a scorecard for myself. What keeps me happy, what keeps me healthy, and what keeps me wealthy. And each day I have specific action steps towards each of those goals. And I check off when I complete that. But I take it one level above that. 5 days a week for now almost 6 years, I spend about 10 to 15 minutes with an accountability partner in a different state, in a different time zone. I keep her accountable. She keeps me accountable. So without losing yourself, figure ways that you can keep yourself accountable and keep your health inspired. And that gives you the ability to help others.
Love that. Love that. Powerful. I'm going to share something with you guys, and then we can come back. How's that sound?
Sounds great.
You followed the rules, tried the restrictions, counted the carbs, the steps, and the failures. You're not lazy, you're exhausted from doing it all without real change. What if the problem isn't you, but the plan? Sifu's Mind-Body Method is a 90-day transformation built on 7 unshakable pillars: mindset, movement, nutrition, hydration, fasting, journaling, and faith. This isn't another shortcut. It's your structure, your strength, your reset. You don't need harder, you need better. Ready to begin? Start today.
There you go. So when you talked about the event that you're having and you talked about the baked candy bar, that one did not attract me. Everything else attracted me. But the candy bar, not really, because that would hurt me. So, but just thought I'd share that.
Well, then you don't have to have anything. You can have your healthy food. We make sure there's healthy food for everyone too.
I come for you. I don't come for anything else. The only reason I would be there is for you, my brother.
I look forward to that.
You're muted, Doctor.
Doctor, you're muted.
Well, sometimes we mute ourselves unintentionally, and sometimes maybe we need to mute ourselves. This time it was unintentional. So in hearing your beautiful commercial, because we'd already talked about poker, my brain, for some reason today, say, you've counted your cards. That's what I heard. And I go, that is inappropriate for Jeff's thing. And then I'm like, oh, carbs. You counted your carbs. So sometimes we hear based on what's So think of that's a good example of our mind will hear things based on what else we've been talking about. We weren't necessarily talking about health and food prior to that, or maybe if we were, my mind was still sticking from the card game. So that's what I heard. And so sometimes we hear things or think we hear things, we create a story about it, and that's not even what the person said. So just a good example of uh, be wary of the decisions and the stories that you tell yourself in your head because you may not even heard the information. So ask.
I think one of the most important communications we have to have is with ourselves.
Yeah.
You know, in Adaku, when you talked about instead of being selfish, being selfful, I love that.
Great.
Because it's really what I do. It's I am very selfish with myself, but I'm doing that at 3:30 in the morning. Nobody else is up. So, and then by the time, so I'm very selfish with me, or should I say now I'm going to change it. So thank you for that gift you gave me, self-full, because then when I'm with other people, it's no longer about me ever. It's about how can I help you? How can I serve? Because God told me that I have to help people. So I do listen.
Yeah. The whole idea of leadership for me, as you know, as I merged through my life, there were times that I did lose myself. So when I first started into business, my impact was to serve others, and I did it well. And because I thought of how I could reach more people, I really saw myself as my own client, and did a lot of publicity to get myself out there, and was able to do like I was on 2020 and all this amazing stuff. And then over time, as other people saw what I was doing for myself, and the outreach that I had, then they wanted to learn that from me. So I merged myself so that I could create that business where I then advised other people. But through that, I didn't at that time have the wherewithal or the a boundary ability to be able to keep myself from losing myself and helping them support their business and their items and their ideals. So I spent, a good 20 years of really just supporting everyone else where I did lose myself and became in the background of lifting other people. Now, for good reason, some of these people were absolutely amazing, did some really, really great things. And I'm proud of the work that happened through me advising. And it's through, neuroscience, NLP, self hypnosis, other modalities that I realized the that I was missing out on some of the things and the impact that I wanted, not just through other people's things, but through my own stuff. So while I still advise and help other people, I now have that boundary or that fence where I can give and allot time to supporting them and their impact on the world. And now I can support and impact my own. And, and I would like to see that if that were something that were trained in school. In our schools, it's while we're learning different things, I don't think we learn about life and how to be resilient and how to be resourceful for ourselves so that we can manage what we need to manage, and at the same time empathy for others. So I once in a while there used to be courses that we would teach that would teach us a little bit of balance of life, and I'm not seeing that anymore, and I certainly miss that. I think that impact would be great. What are your guys' thoughts on that?
If I may, you're talking about leading without losing yourself. And Doctor, you brought up an extraordinarily wonderful example. As successful businessmen and women, the success is our clients. And sometimes the shoemaker has no shoes. We'd rather take care of somebody else before we take care of ourselves. But imagine for a moment if you, Adaku, Sifu, Doctor, myself, walk into my office and have an issue. I'm going to work for that person. So if you can leave yourself as the individual and imagine yourself as one of the clients that you want to give to, then you're giving to yourself and you're not losing it. And it's a different mindset. It works. It works. I'm going to give you one example, a little vulnerability. Back in 2000, when I had started an internet company, I had some headaches. So I took an MRI, and the doctor says, we got your results back. You have a brain tumor. And it was just a pituitary tumor. It was malignant, but oh my gosh. So now I didn't have it. My client, Jeff Schwartz, had that brain tumor. I did the research. I met with a surgeon, and he says, wait a second, are you a doctor? Because I read so much about that. I was like deposing the doctor that I was going to be. But as it turned out, everyone was fine. I had it for 6 years, took it out with that craniotomy. I was in on a Friday, out on a Monday. So if you think of your issues as if you were a client, there's a different way of looking at it. And all of us have achieved our success by helping others. So help yourself if you help somebody else.
Yeah, totally agree with that. When I shifted to now where I'm doing executive advising again, the people that I've attracted and the balance that I have and the freedom that I have with my life, it's just been absolutely beautiful this last couple years that I shifted back to that. And it's funny that I knew it in my early 20s and 30s, and then it took me to get to my 50s to realize that I had a really good foundation. Let's go back to that. Sifu, we're at the end of our time together.
Yeah, absolutely. So what a great episode. Thank you both for being here with us, with Dr. Andrea and myself. The impact that you are going to have with the words that you spoke will impact so many. But it can't happen unless somebody shares this show. So everybody who's watching, share it with a friend, because the words that were said here are going to impact somebody that you may never know. They may pass it along to somebody else and say, you got to take a look at the show. What Adaku said, what Dr. Andrea said, what Jeff said, and that guy Sifu, whatever. It's gonna be impactful for you. So do us a favor and share the show with somebody. And you never know what your sharing could do for someone. You don't know what they're going through. They may be going through burnout. They may be going through a breakthrough, and they may need to hear a little bit more. And if anybody is going through anything, reach out to any one of us. We're here to help. So before we finish, I'd like to have each one of you tell us about what someone can expect when they come to your website. Adaku, ladies first. So you get to go up and tell us what somebody can do. You have 45 seconds or so to share with us.
Sure. I kind of dropped it in here and there, but I do work with firstborn daughters that are executives and entrepreneurs. And essentially, I help them on a mindset level, but they come to me wanting to grow their businesses. And I help them look at how their birth order is causing patterns that are limiting them in their career, in their business, and their money. And then it has a ripple effect with their parenting, their marriages, etc. So I have a community called the Healed Hero Community, where these women are doing the work together. They're networking together, they're doing business together, but mainly it's about healing those blocks and limitations that, and Dr. Andrea was talking about, that we should have learned as children, in terms of how do we deal with all of these blind spots that we have, and how can we see how we're creating all of these unwanted results. And I've had clients that have come to me and scaled their business 5x in 8 months just by removing all of these blind spots, or gone from earning 300,000 to 800,000 within 3 months, again just by looking at how am I limiting myself, where do those lack of self-worth belief show up in how I'm showing up in my career. So if you're a firstborn daughter, an executive, an entrepreneur, and you're ambitious and want to grow your company, but you know that you've got some stuff from your childhood and patterns that you want to shift, then that's what you'll find there.
Yeah, so go to healedhero.com.
Yes.
Right, thank you for that. Appreciate it. Jeff, my friend, you are.
So I've talked about the life experiences I've had, being an attorney, owning 6 businesses, working with 300. And across the screen is my website. It's CBA for Conceive, Believe, Achieve, consultant.com. Come look at the website. But I'm going to take this opportunity to tell you again about Life's Angels. Please go to lifesangels.org and celebrate 10 years of giving back to those who have been dealt a bad hand. If you can come, we'd love to see you there. If you can't come, there is a place for donation, and knowing that you're going to be giving back to others. So you see the website below me, but remember, lifesangels.org.
Beautiful.
Dr. Andrea, you're up.
Yeah, thanks so much. So, Sifu, I still do what I always did. However, I have turned the tables. Like I said, I went back to my foundation of what I do. And so I've really stepped back up into that executive advisory role. So I work with high elite decision makers, CEOs, celebrities, athletes, people who have a huge impact with a lot of pressure and visibility often. And so my role always has been is to be able to help them, see clearly like what's going on with their strategy, their relationships, their influence, both personal and professionally, so that when they are leading, they are thinking about not only, their legacy for after they're gone, but so that they can have the freedom to live the legacy while they're still alive, so that they are having the freedom to spend time with their families, yet while they're still being able to, manage and monetize their business so that it continues to grow, but that they don't have to have all their fingers in everything, teaching them how to delegate and be more resourceful in with their time and talent so that they can really truly live. And it's been so exciting to do that again. I had the pleasure in the past to work with some really high up, well-known people, and stepping back into that again has been super joyful. So yeah, that's what I'm up to. So thank you for letting me share.
Congratulations. And
Thanks.
definitely go to redcarpetconnections.com. TheRedCarpetConnections.com. I'm Sifu Rafael. I'm easy to find. It's SifuRafael.com. And my goal is to help. That's it. That's what God told me to do, and I'm listening. So if you need any help in any kind, I help people get on stages. I actually create stages. For me, it's how can you live a better life? And sometimes we need to find ourselves. Because like I said, wherever you go, there you are. Even in the darkness, there you are. So shoot a text, and let's get you on the road to brighter days. And don't just shoot one to me. Shoot it to everyone on this panel, because everyone here is very impactful in the way they show up and the way they help other people. I'm so blessed to know you all. Thank you, and have yourself an exceptional rest of your day. You guys hang out for a second. Everybody else, God bless. Enjoy.